Well, tell about your trip out here on the ship to begin with Uncle George.
Conklin says he's give you the ages of the different times.
I left with George to come out here at 19. To an 18. We arrived in Sydney. In Sydney we took the train to Tongala. We was met by Arthur Gardner.
When did they come out?
1912.
Oh, they were out. Did they come out from Chile?
Yeah, from Chile with Uncle Lawrence, Auntie Gertie, and Auntie Millie.
Yeah.
And some of my cousins were born up in Chile. They came out in 1912. And they took up land selection in Tongala. For dairy in those days. And the depression hit them later. It was the depression of 28, 29, 30. And many of the settlers lost their properties. Uncle Lawrence and Auntie Millie, they bought a small property, Tongala, 10 acres. That's where they retired.
Yeah, that's the farm that we used to go see them on.
Little.
That place, they were next door to each other, and
Yeah.
there were big white
The
stumps
big-
of
the big-
trees that I can remember.
The big house was Arthur and Auntie Gertie retired. And Uncle Lawrence and Auntie Millie retired to the 10 acres. She had a few pumpkins and milk vegetables and cows. And that's a weekend.
And they met you at the train in Tongala then, or in Kaya?
I worked at the dairy farm, and I knew all about, well, I reckon I knew all about everything. And I went fruit picking to see what that was like. I worked on that for a while. And Dad and I came out. I quit at that place coming down. That's the deep ones. Then we bought the farm at Conklin, George very little down, wasn't worth very much at that time. We used to go into work, run a farm at the same time.
Oh, what did you do?
Dairy farm.
Yeah,
What?
for working.
Fruit picking, anything.
Or anything that was available.
In the country, you don't pick and choose and job.
No, I wondered if there was anything in particular. Or if
No, just our line of work.
Yeah.
The war came along and I joined up.
You didn't get drafted when you joined up.
So I was in a protected industry, I didn't move on.
Yeah, farming would have been. Yeah. Well, why did you want to join up? Just
Well, I was one of those idiots who was patriotic, I suppose.
no, I didn't mean it that way.
Well, that's what people reckon about us now.
Yeah. They,
No, but at the time, most of us thought that Australia and the Empire needed us.
Yeah.
And we joined up.
And then you went to Belcombe.
And then went down the street with Arthur Conklin, who's dead now.
Yeah.
And we went down on the beach. There was just two girls down there. Arthur Conklin started to talk to them. And the one girl said, "Oh," she said, "you ought to come up and see my sister, she's beautiful." And that was Valda, she was about 11 at the time. And I'd said, "Oh yes, you better But she knew she wouldn't be allowed out of that.
Yeah.
We were standing on the corner waiting for them to come. We didn't think they'd come down. I saw this girl working down. I told her out of the car. I said, "Now that's a girl I'd like to meet and marry."
Mm-hmm.
Within 10 minutes, I was introduced to her.
Yeah.
Much to my surprise.
Yeah.
And after 12 months courting, we got married.
Well, tell about your first date. What
Oh,
did
we
you?
went to the pictures. We went to see bluebirds.
Yeah.
And that's Nelson Eddy and
Jeanette MacDonald?
singing.
Yeah.
That was the third time Nelson singing.
Yeah.
No matter.
Yeah, she didn't care, did she? She liked the picture.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what?
it was the only picture to see in any
Yeah,
case. So
the only
that's
one.
the right choice. Yeah.
Well, what did you think after your first date? You think you still felt the same way?
Yeah, I knew. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what happened? Mum was engaged to that other one. Do you
Not
know?
there, no.
Well, she had his
Oh,
ring
she,
in a
not,
way,
not
but
then.
oh,
No,
did
she'd
that was,
given that back to her.
oh, she'd already given it back.
He wasn't engaged, and he just
Well, he gave her the
he
ring.
put it on her finger.
Yeah,
She didn't have the heart to give it back to him.
yeah, yeah. Okay, and then after you got married, I can remember Mum telling us that you spent your honeymoon at the People's Palace,
That's right.
and you lived on onions and tomato salad.
We ate the things we like best.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. It didn't mean that you lived on. I mean that's what you liked and that's what you ate.
The funniest thing, I think, was the first morning we had breakfast. We were sitting down there. We had a choice of what was going on. And Nelson turned to me and says, "After we're married, I'll cook you your breakfast." And the other two people at the table, they never even turned their head. It sounded so funny.
Oh, dear. And what did she say when she realised what she
Oh,
said?
she went as red as a beet. Didn't say anything.
Oh, dear.
6 months later, I volunteered to go to Malaysia, and we were all ready to go. My commanding officer went up and we saw the camp commandant, and I was told he cried because he didn't want us boys to go up there and get murdered. Whatever he told, he took us off draft
Yeah.
with the machine guns. So the next thing is I was on draft 3 times to the Middle East, and each time I was taken off. But alright, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Chaps joined up a long time after me, went in.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so we put off. And eventually, when things were getting sticky up in New Guinea, they called for volunteers to go up to reinforce the militia. But Moresby, people was volunteered for that. A total of 500 altogether. They took us down to Caulfield. They took all our Middle East equipment off us. It was new rifles, new equipment, the latest of everything. And they dished us out 1916, 1918 rifles, with no rifling left in some of them. My friend, he took his, we had to turn in everything, and all our gear was stacked beside us. And they issued us new packs.
Yeah.
He started to pack his stuff on his back and pushed the bottom out of it. You know, all this stuff was.
Yeah.
They took off our good pouches, bandolier for the bandolier rifle ammunition,
Yeah.
and they gave us the 1915 leather issue. And I looked at my rifle, I was disgusted. So this is got no rifling left in it. At least you give us some decent equipment. And much to our disgust, he turned around and he said, well, I said, we're not going to give you good stuff to give to the Japs.
Yeah, as if they were just sitting up there doing.
Well, they didn't think they could hold it. So
Yeah.
coming in so fast.
Mhm.
Well, it only took them about 3 weeks to get right through Malaysia.
Yeah.
So that's the condition we went in. Peculiar things. That's where I was put on the charge sheet. Because we,
Now, what do you mean, a charge sheet? Oh.
you're put on a charge sheet, you can either be fined or left and put in the jail for a few weeks or, something. That's it,
Yeah.
because we'd gone down and an old truck had been rolled down onto the beach edge. It's a wreck.
Mm.
We took some wire off of it to tie our mosquito nets with. And he was accused of sabotaging and pilfering for civilian gear. So, I made you about it. I said, okay. You charge me with that charge. I said, well, first, I said, you gotta know what you're doing. I said, what happened to the report that was handed to you of the Jap that was broadcasting just outside of our camp information for the Japanese bombers? I said, no. I said, you don't want to know so much about it. I said, because his brother was your personal valet.
Mm.
Oh, he said, that's not true. I said, it's true enough. I said, for one. I said, I got enough witnesses to prove it. I said, I know who the fellow was broadcasting. I said, I know who your valet is. I said, you'd have to answer all that. And he told me to shut up. I said, okay, I'll shut up. But I said, I stand on my rights. I said, I wouldn't be tried by you or anybody else. I said, I demand to be tried by a civilian lawyer back in Australia with a charge of that magnitude.
Mm.
I said, I refuse to be charged outside of Australia. I'm very disgusted. He told me to get back to my tent and hurry.
Mm.
That's what was all about.
Yeah.
And that was a fact, though.
Yeah.
There was a Japanese half-caste broadcasting for the Japs just outside of within half a mile of our camp. And when the officer was told about it, instead of going immediately down to investigate, he delayed it to the next day. And he went down and his brother, his half-brother, had told him, he'd been down and told him, obviously. We was in Port Moresby, and told us that they're loading a ship. Told us the bombers is coming. I said, well, I'm staying on the boat. The boat cast off to go out into the bay because when they were tied up on the end of the pier. And we were about 3 feet away from the pier. Suddenly I just changed my mind. I said, I'm off. And I jumped off the boat onto the pier. Cleared up onto the bank into some slip trenches. And about 18 Japanese bombers came over and they hit that ship with 3 bombs. It's incredible, from 18,000 feet in the ship. Only a little one. There's 11 people killed and about 22 wounded on it. Strange. Oh, they reckon you're mad. About 3 feet.
Yeah.
I jumped over. Oh, no, I could have missed it.
Yeah.
And then we was putting up our wire fence out in the sea. It was real funny because I'm 6 foot. Most of the time, I was about the second highest in our battalion. So some of those fellas, they were a little over 5 feet, just the limit. I couldn't put any more wire down because the water was up to my chin and lapping over my head in the waves.
Yeah.
So we walked out. Major was the captain. He's going off quick. We got on my hands and knees and back there. And he raced up and down. He said, well, who's that man? Who's that man? Apparently one of the chaps must have told him who I was because he came up to my tent afterwards. He was packing gear. He was moving out for it. This was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
He went over the next end over. Chap that I'd been with right through. He was having a shave. What are you doing? Having a shave. Pack your gear, he says, you ready to move out at 4 o'clock? So we packed our gear, 4 o'clock, and tried to pick this up. We didn't even know who was going. And they took us into Port Moresby, and they loaded us onto an old coastal tub. So 28 of us. 3 green carriers, personnel carriers.
Mm-hmm.
How the old tub ever took the weight, I don't know. And they wouldn't tell us where we were going. We shipped out of Port Moresby. About 5 hours later, we travelled about 30 miles. And they unloaded us at an old wharf. We had to go down and look after this aeroplane. Because there was supposedly 500 Japs coming down to take it.
28 people. Was that the photograph that you gave me? If you were
Yeah,
taken up on a sort of a balcony thing?
So the chap said, he said, I'll take these photographs. If the Japs do come here, so at least we'll have something to prove that we're here. We stayed there for 9 months.
Yeah.
Never saw it. We, soon after we got there, we bought some watermelon. Pawpaws off the natives and just shut the petrol around the eating area. And I took a piece of pawpaw back to the tent, check the seeds outside of my tent, and it's incredible. But in that 9 months, it was when we left, watermelons, or whatever that's. They're all still green. But they were ready to ripen.
About the size of a football.
Yeah, they were ready to ripen.
Bigger than a football.
And on the corner of my tent, where I put some pepper seeds in and buried them, I left one pawpaw that came up. It had 3 pawpaws in it. And we actually ate 1 paw before we left. That's in 9 months. The Americans moved in, before they moved out, they cleared some forest. Absolutely thick stuff had never been touched. And they put some sweet corn in, or Indian corn, or maize, quite what you like. And they had a crop off of that. And then they turned round and they put another crop in, and it was about 2 foot high when we left. So within a period of no more than 9 months, but it could be about 6 months. 2 crops. We burnt kunai down about 8 feet tall.
Yeah, that's grass.
Grass. It's a caney type of grass. It grows about 6 or 8 feet tall. It was, must have been several months after we got there. And of all things, it hadn't rained in that area for weeks. It used to rain on the one side, but not on the other.
What do you mean on one
The drum. The drum run on.
Oh, on the air drum.
Air drum. You could run the line down through the middle of it. And the rain used to come. You could go and sit on the one side in the sun, and the other side would be streaming the rain. Right on the other side where all the sun was. The day after we burnt the kunai down, it was 7 or 8 miles wide, by about 15 miles long, the piece we burnt out. It rained, puddles of water. It stopped raining and the water disappeared. Within a fortnight, you could walk through it and you couldn't see it. We just You could see it coming up.
Yeah.
Each morning it'd be a foot or more longer. Yeah. Soon after we moved in there, the Americans shifted out. All their gear had gone, except 7 plane loads of food. They wouldn't leave us a skerrick. They had a great big heap of stretchers. I said, how are we going to get the stretchers? Well, I suggested that 2 carriers go up one after the other between the beds, the American Guard, and spin around and create a big dust that they'd go inside their tents and pull their flaps down, get out of the dust, while the other one came back on the other side, loaded on as many as possible while we were skipping the dust. And we got 30 beds.
Plus some food, didn't you?
Oh,
Or is that the other?
that was a different situation.
Oh, that's
there.
another one.
No, it's the same one, the same when they were evacuating the place.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, let's go. I said, we're going to pinch some of the stuff up there. I said, look, the best thing we can do is if we're going to take any is take 1 complete stack. Oh, they'll miss it. I said, they'll miss it if they take half. But if we take a whole one, they won't realise it's gone. So that's what we did. We took 1 complete load. We took it about, it was half a mile from camp. We put it in a very good slip trench and put some palm leaves over it and covered it with dirt and camouflage. And we went back. Oh, it's okay. Those 5 planes came in and loaded up, and that left 1 load, and they sent 1 plane back again. They never queried. But before that happened, it was one night, it must have been about 9, 10 o'clock at night, getting real late, pitch black. We heard these planes droning in the distance. I wrote a poem again.
Yes, yeah.
And are they Americans or are they Japs? I've listened for a few minutes. They're Americans. Because they had a different sound altogether. And they came in and they kept blinking their lights at us. Once again, I was fortunate that I guessed what they wanted was they wanted the runway lit up. Because it used to be, when the Americans had it, they had lights all around. And they used to switch them on and bring planes in. So I said, well, if there's anything we can do is just take our carriers down there. We was up on the building at the time. 1 carrier on the drone and 2 up the reserve. So the best thing to do is tell the loaders, just take our carriers down there, get the other ones started up, all 3 line abreast across on the end of the drum, and wait till the planes are coming in, and then switch our lights on. One carrier, 2 carriers on the 2 corners take off, and leave the one in the middle with his rear light facing down the way. Down the middle of it to give them a landing strip, and go up to the 2 far corners and turn round and show them around the other corners. So it looked like a good idea, so that's what we did. And 1 pilot came in, landed. Of course, once he landed, it was all right because he got talking to his mate upstairs, told him to come in, and they both came in. They reckon they only had half an hour's flying time. They were going to parachute on the next round, if nothing happened, into that area. Because they knew there was a drone there, but they just didn't know where. And let their planes go out to sea. Let them crash an automatic pilot. There's 11 crew on each one of them. So no, it must have been after that, because that's when they, all the beds that we pinched, we were able to let them have a stretcher each.
Yeah. And food.
We slept on food. Yeah, they cleaned up our food.
Yeah.
We had nothing left when they left. Because all we was down to was semolina for breakfast. So next morning we got a good treat of semolina, and we had some baked beans. We gave the baked beans that night. So the next morning, because we were expecting supplies in, and they promised they'd fly us in. We said, "What do you want?" We said, "A bag of flour." Okay. We thought that's the end of it. The next day, in came a plane with a bag of flour. We thought to be if a plane was coming in, they might drop us in the bag.
Yeah.
No, they had a special flight with a bag of flour on it.
And then what happened after that?
Well, after that was short after that, we went back. We abandoned the underground too. We went back into Fort Moresby, and we had the Port Defense.
What was your rank in the Army?
Sergeant.
Sir?
And what did you do in Moresby? How long were you there? Was it just
Oh,
sort
we
of a
was,
station?
We was on drone defense, and in case there was any Japanese broke through the lines, our job was to, as armored personnel carriers, was to go there, intercept them, provide machine gun fire for the infantry. We were the first ones to shoot our own planes down there, didn't they? Yeah, they kept on telling us that our own planes was coming in, and the chaps used to come in and machine gun us every day. And this day they said, no, planes are definitely not coming in today. Half an hour later, these planes came in, and we shot them. There was 7 of them came in, and we put bullet holes in 5 of them. They didn't do that.
None of them came down though, did they?
I think it was a bit exaggerated how many times we hit them.
Yeah.
The only plane that we did shoot down was a Zero. And my own opinion is that one of my friends shot it down.
Yeah.
Because he definitely hit it with, he had tracer. He definitely put tracer bullets into the plane. They crashed it at 5 miles away. But the anti-aircraft people claimed it. But I don't think they did, because I think it was too low for anti-aircraft gunners.
Yeah.
I think they wouldn't have been firing, but I think it would have been, if they'd have been firing at that height, I think it would have been a hazard.
Yeah.
He went away trialing flag, so I believe the chap in our unit said he shot him down.
Now, when did you find out when Keith was born? How was correspondence and everything?
Going pretty good. Sometimes you get through.
Yeah.
We were lost up there, but they didn't own us for about 6 months.
Yeah.
I reckon no such unit existed. One of my passes took 11 months to get it.
11 months. From Mum?
From Elsie and Mum.
Yeah.
They set it up. 11 months.
Oh, well, how about when Keith was born? How long did that message take to get up there to let you know that he was?
Mail mostly was pretty good.
Yeah, it was just packages.
Well, at one stage I got no letters at all. Too much. But they reckon they told Elsa that there was no such unit
Yeah.
in Newcastle. And she was still getting my letters without the unit on them. Eventually they
Found out where you were.
decided that there was such a unit. No, actually, one of the chaps was writing to Kurt, John Friedman,
Yeah.
and he told him that he had been up there, some of the boys had been up there 2 years and they hadn't been home yet. And he'd go to the unit, and when she read that, she went and saw Mr. Curtin, and she said, look, some of these boys have been up there 2 years. He said, it couldn't be. So he asked his minister for the army. He said, no, there's no troops up there, been up there 2 years. And Mr. Curtin personally told his secretary to write to this chap, tell him that he was investigating it personally.
Yeah.
I've been up there 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So within a week, he was on a boat back to Australia with another one.
Yeah.
They didn't even know he was up there.
Yeah.
There's a Prime Minister that took an interest
Yeah.
in what was going on. But not even the Minister for the Army didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Major that was our commander, I think he was bananas.
Mm.
He didn't want to go.
Yeah.
We call him Snaggletooth.
Yeah.
Terrible guy. He called for volunteers one morning. And he wouldn't tell them what for. And I told my blacks, I said, look, so you can volunteer if you want to. I said, no, I wouldn't. I said, there's a catch somewhere. I said, that old fella, so you wouldn't be asking for volunteers just for the fun of it. And that was, he said it was to escort some nurses then down to see a native village, and I still told him, I said, don't volunteer. So there's not one of my fellows volunteered.
Yeah.
So that left the volunteers to come out of one of the other companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they went, and he lined them up at 8 o'clock for an inspection. He found every one of those blokes 10 bob each without having shaved. He got them up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
8 o'clock because they hadn't shaved, and he found them 10 bob each. And then he said, then he put on a random inspection. It's supposed to be. He said, right now, he says, every one of you empty out your haversacks. That's the little pack you can carry around. You know, the big pack and the haversacks are small, where you take a change of clothes and the ground sheet, a few odds and ends. That's a war pack. You've got that packed all the time. When you call that in a hurry, you just take that with you. You forget your big pack. And he said, everybody empty out their haversacks. Out went the haversacks. And all those that didn't have a change of clothes, or that had a gas cape instead of a ground sheet, which was permissible by the Army rules at the time. He found all those an extra 10 bob for those that didn't have a ground sheet.
Because he's making money.
Well, it didn't go up to him because it just went back into consolidated revenue.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything out of those fines. So when they came back, we stirred them up a bit. One thing led to another. He sent his adjutant down to give them a march with fixed bayonets. Well, you only do that at a short distance, and what you're doing then just get along your shoulder. But he wouldn't, he made a march along. One of the chaps picked up a rock and threw it and hit him behind the ear and dropped him like a log. And when he got up, he pulled his pistol and he said he'd shoot the man that did it. But I was told that blacks, they had bayonets pricking into his back in half a dozen directions before he knew what had happened to him. So he had to put his pistol away. But that was his second thing. He had accidentally shot a bloke in the regiment his uncle was a commander in, previous to that. So that would have been his second instance with his pistol. He swore it had gone up accidentally, and as he got out of the other one, all he did was shift it to a different unit. He was completely mad, the Major. He had us dig in this great big hole in the side of a hill to put all our petrol supplies in. Distributed around is much better than just putting it all in one big heap. If you see half a hill being cut away, well, you'd suspect there'd be something worth bombing in there, if anything. We argued with him for about a week. So, a few of us got together and said, right, that's it. We were working 8 hours a day on this, getting this out. And then he decided he was going to work 12 hours a day. He just don't work those hours in the tropics. said, I got blisters. I'm not good. So, that's it. I didn't have blisters. They looked like it.
Yeah.
But half the blokes there did have blisters, and some of them bad ones.
Yeah.
And he said, right, all those blisters, he said, you're going to have a rest for a few days. And all the others are going to keep working on a 24-hour basis. I don't know how you expected them to, maybe to deliver with half-hour breaks. Every 2 hours. So it was to eat and have a rest. He called us all up. He said, right, all the NCOs that feel they don't want to serve under me, he says, the agent will take your names. We all stood up and started firing fast. About 4 hours.
Yeah.
So a lot of NCOs. And it took about 100 names, I suppose. The queue was still forming up to go through. So he called that off. And he said, all those that don't want to hand in their stripes, is to stand up. There was only 2 stood up.
Yeah.
One was the quartermaster sergeant, and the other was the transport corporal. If they didn't pay out afterwards, you know his business. The quartermaster sergeant, he lost his job shortly afterwards because he used to always had clean clothes on.
Yeah.
But what he was doing, he'd wear them a day or half a day, take them off and put them back in the racks again and hand them out.
To someone else.
Yeah. So what the chap started to do then, of course, nobody was going to tell him anything.
Yeah.
They'd lift up the queue side of the tent and they'd crawl underneath, upwards out to short, trousers, shorts, boots, socks, whatever was going. Chuck their dirty ones in there. So he had an awful mess in his queue store in no time. Yes. Then somebody went along and reported that he'd given him a dirty shirt instead of a clean one, you know.
Yeah.
Hatched up.
Yeah.
A real dirty one, a grubby one. And they went in to inspect his store, and he has all these dirty clothes in there and mixed up everywhere. So they out. And the transport corporal, well, nobody spoke to him.
Yeah.
They just didn't exist.
Yeah.
If he wanted to go anywhere, if his own truck was out on a job somewhere, he couldn't go anywhere. Nobody'd take him, they would give him a dinghy. And his Dingle was his name, but I suppose I was one of the leaders. I said, yeah, you shouldn't be Dingle, you should be Dingo. And, he got really badly treated. Poor devil.
Well, then, did you come home on leave then and then go back?
Yeah. I came home on leave. They held us up in Queensland for a month to fatten us up before they let us home.
How long did we at home?
37 days.
Yeah.
And I went back up to Queensland, up there for 12 months, home for about 15 days, and back up to New Guinea for the next series of the Wewak. That was just the final end of the war.
And how long was it?
12 months.
12 months the last.
Yeah, from right up here to Wewak. Just on 12 months to do that little bit of a march through the mountains.
How often did you have contact with the enemy?
Every day.
Every day. Was it a retreat or advance?
So we was advancing.
Yeah, well, that was the last 12
That
months.
was the last 12 months. They were running out of ammunition.
They were feeling the lack of supply lines overextended themselves.
Yeah, they had no more supplies coming in. The American Navy and the Australian Navy and what have you was all out there, stopping everything coming in. Yeah, we was up in Port Moresby when the Coral Sea battle was. That's early on in the piece.
And that's what started to cut their supply lines.
That was the turning point. Because they lost in the Coral Sea, and then we started to drive them back over the Dakota Drive. Everything dovetailed one into another. They were losing out all round. Then when they were going to reinforce Buna, they sent in 22 ships to reinforce Buna. And the American Navy and the Air Force intercepted them, and they sunk just about every one of them, including a hospital ship. They just pushed them all down. And I was listening to a broadcast from the Philippines, and it said, it was in Spanish, I said there were the Americans and their allies had singled out in particular the hospital ship to sink it, with everybody on board. Although it was Red Cross and lit up and everything else, they still sank it. And they said that there's a ship outfitting in a port in northern Australia. He said it was a hospital ship. He said, we've got a submarine outside waiting for it, and when it leaves, we're going to sink it. He said, even if it's got Red Crosses painted on it from end to end, or flags flying on it, or lit up, we're going to sink it, because they sunk one of ours. And I told my immediate officer above me, and he hit the roof. He said I was listening to enemy propaganda and what he wasn't going to do to me and everything else. Well, I said, look, it's between you and me. I said, I'm the only one that knows Spanish here in this unit. I said, I've listened to the broadcast, and I said, I'm telling you. I said, now, I said, from there on, it's up to you what you do about it. He said, if I catch you, he said, listen to any more broadcasts from the enemy, he says, I'll have you sent back to Australia, have me court-martialed. I said, no. Because I said, in future, if I listen to it, I said, I won't tell you. I said, that's it. And he said, well, he said, if I hear any foreign language coming over that thing, he says, and I'm around, he says, I will personally smash it up. And that's finished there. A few days later, the news sheet came out where this ship had been outfitting in Brisbane. It was given to us by the Dutch. I just can't for the life of me think of the name of the boat now. It was quite familiar. He just left Brisbane out a little way out and some torpedo.
Well, could it be that the Japs were using that hospital ship in disguise?
No, the one. Oh no, it was they put it in the middle of their own things, and it was one of those things. Bombs don't always go where they're supposed to go.
It was sort of like their other things were around it.
Yeah.
So they were bombing.
It was in a flotilla, you see, and well, it just got bad luck because if a chap's hit or anything else, he's going to drop his bombs anyway. Yeah. But our own one, I don't think it was a Japanese broadcasting at all. I think it was an American agent who was warning Australia what was coming. It would be more feasible. It was real Castellano, the same Spanish as I speak.
Yeah, it wasn't the Mexican, it was the South American.
The Castellano.
Yeah.
Mexicans do speak slightly different. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if it wasn't an American agent in there and broadcast the information over. But unfortunately, I was the only one that picked it up. I had a peculiar thing. I dreamt, well, it wasn't a dream, it was a vision. I had, and I saw 100 planes, Americans.
Wait a minute, Dad, I'm going to stop it.